In the silent embrace of death, when the final breath has escaped the lips and the body lies still, the journey of the soul has only just begun. In the land of Kemet, where the golden sun rose over the vast, eternal sands and the great Nile gave life to an empire, death was not an end, but a passage, a crossing from the mortal realm into the world beyond. To the ancient Egyptians, the afterlife was not merely a concept, but a reality, meticulously detailed in the sacred text known as the Book of the Dead, a guide through the perilous voyage that awaited every departed soul. A soul, newly freed from the confines of flesh, would find itself standing before the towering gates of the Duat, the underworld. The sky was ink dark, punctuated by the glow of ethereal flames that lined the path ahead. The air was thick with whispers, voices of those who had walked this path before. The soul trembled, for it knew that the road to eternity was fraught with trials and dangers. Armed with sacred incantations and prayers, inscribed carefully by the living upon papyrus scrolls and tomb walls, the departed would take its first steps into the unknown. Before the soul lay 12 gates, each guarded by fearsome deities with the heads of beasts and the eyes of judgment. Here, words held power greater than any sword. The soul, if wise, would recite the correct spell to appease the gatekeepers, lest it be cast into the abyss. With each incantation spoken, the gates groaned open, revealing the next stage of the harrowing journey. The river of time flowed differently here, its waters shimmering like liquid silver. To reach the field of reeds, where peace and eternity awaited, the soul had to prove itself worthy. The greatest trial of all lay in the Hall of Two Truths, where the soul would stand before Osiris, Lord of the underworld. The chamber was vast, its golden pillars stretching endlessly into the heavens. The gods gathered in solemn silence, Thoth, the scribe, poised with his quill, Anubis, the jackal-headed guide, standing watchful, and Ma'at, the goddess of truth, with her feather poised for judgment. Before them sat the great scales, gleaming beneath the watchful gaze of the divine. Anubis stepped forward, his voice like the rustling of ancient papyrus. He beckoned the soul to present its heart, the vessel of truth, heavy with the deeds of a lifetime. With trembling hands, the soul placed its heart upon the scale, while Ma'at set her feather upon the other side. A hush fell over the hall as the scales tipped, weighing the soul's purity against the lightness of truth. If the heart was unburdened by sin, if it had lived honorably, the scales would balance, and the soul would be granted passage to Aaru, the paradise where the fields stretched golden beneath an eternal sun. But if the heart was weighed down with falsehood and cruelty, the Devourer of Souls, Ammit, part lion, part crocodile, part hippopotamus, would lunge forward and consume it whole, condemning the unworthy to oblivion. The moment stretched into eternity. Then the scales balanced. A sigh of relief shuddered through the soul, and Osiris, with eyes as deep as the cosmos, nodded in solemn approval. A path of light unfolded before the soul, leading into the endless beauty of Aaru. There, the departed would walk amongst golden stalks of grain, sail upon crystal waters, and reunite with loved ones lost to time. The cycle was complete. Death had given birth to eternity. Yet, the journey of the soul was a lesson for the living. The Book of the Dead was more than a guide to the afterlife. It was a testament to the values of truth, righteousness, and balance. It taught that life was but a preparation for the eternal, that each deed, each word, carried weight beyond the mortal realm. And so, beneath the ever-watchful eye of Ra, the living would strive for virtue, knowing that one day they too would stand before the scales, their hearts laid bare beneath the judgment of the gods. Thus, the legend endures, carried by the winds of time, whispered among the tombs and temples of the ancients. For as long as the Nile flows and the sun rises over the land of the pharaohs, the journey of the soul will never be forgotten.